Wow. I made a video yesterday and it has gotten a lot of hate. Let's just say there are some very passionate people out there. What was this video about? It was about dual spec. And in that video, what I said was dual spec is good. I like it. But it should be changed to not be allowed to be used willy-nilly everywhere. In a rested zone, then we're good. People lost their shit. Let's see what they said. L take. You know, that comment must have taken them a while to come up with. L take. Josh W., who's on my side, says, wrong. And then they have the gall to comment saying, please elaborate how dual spec ruins the game. You and this guy can go back to Classic Era where it doesn't exist. So Helsing can say L take. That's an okay comment. 2 words. L take. But should someone say wrong? No. Now you need to explain yourself with a little more than just 1 word. It's not okay. Please explain why it's better for players to have to hearth back or fly back to change their spec as to just doing it whenever they feel like. Change the meta? Quit yapping, man. Josh W. says, your choices are supposed to have weight to them. This isn't go-go gadget. I can switch to whatever the heck I want to do. This guy's takes are beyond out of touch. So, first of all, I've been playing WoW for 20 years, and I have been playing for the last 5 years vanilla, level 60 WoW. The vast majority of the population stopped playing that. And so I like to think I'm kind of in touch with vanilla WoW. As for calling me this guy, I'm not saying that I have the renown of some kind of mega YouTuber. But it's pretty common that I run into people in game and they're like, oh, dude, I watched your video or something like that. So I think I hope this is not too pompous. I'm a little bit more than a this guy. Guilds that want to run 2 PvE specs sounds like a you problem. Essentially, in my video, what I said was, due to how people follow what the best players do. Oh, this is the best player. I will do their spec. I will do what they do. They copy. Oh, they got world buffs. I'll get world buffs. I wasn't getting world buffs, but they get world buffs. Like, it just, people copy what the best people do. Why not? It works for them, and you should kind of, to a degree, copy what the best people do. My issue is that there's a chance it could really shift things up and have guilds require people to run 2 PvE specs. Oh, you want to have Shadow as your off spec? No. We need you to be disciplined for PI, but then when the boss needs more healing, like on Saffron, mages screw their PI, they need to decurse, and we need the most healing possible on Saffron. We're going to need you to be disciplined on some bosses and holy on other bosses. No, you can't go Shadow. You have to pay 50 gold to do that. When you're in raid, you're on my time. You need 2 PvE specs. I think it's kind of funny that the person's name is Boomerman and then Old Cray. Not a single good take. It's like these 2 crotchety old guys on the front porch. Boomerman and Old Cray. 6 minutes of my life gone. This was so off. He is seriously challenged. I'm not the only person who feels this way, so I guess there's a lot of challenged people.
Bro, I'm so sad with the dual spec. It's anywhere. You can change your spec anywhere at any time, and it's only 50 fucking gold to get dual spec. I hate that. I actually think that's so bad for the game. 50G to get dual spec seems crazy to me. Yeah, so you go double raid spec, and you swap, like, between bosses. I think it's super annoying. I think it's super cringe. I think you should only be able to change specs in town. Like, being able to change specs at a whim is toxic for raiders. Because now what? Now guess what happens, guys? Guess what fucking happens? Now instead of having dual spec, we have dual raiding specs, and we still have to respec for PvP. We still have to respec for farming because they fucked it up. Blizzard was like, oh, well, we'll just let them do it anywhere. I swear. At this point, you know, where's tri-spec? 0.1% player base take. Cheater, the 0.1% is where all the information comes from. So while it's a 0.1% take, sure. But everybody tries to emulate them. That's the reason why people bring so many warriors to the raid. They don't actually need it. They just want to emulate the best players. So what's going to happen is people are going to read a guide, and the guide is going to say, these two specs are your dual specs for raiding. That's just how it's going to be. There's going to be a fucking Wowhead guide, and it's going to be Mage guide to raiding specs with dual spec. And it'll give you 2 PvE specs, and then they're not actually going to have dual spec. They're just going to have 2 different raiding specs. That's what's going to happen. You're overthinking this? That's top 1%? I think you're underthinking it. I'm not even wrong, guys. That's what's going to happen. But that's just where we're at, and that's why I think it's really annoying that they didn't foresee that happening. It's very like rose tinted to be like, oh, we're just gonna let people change wherever, and then, you know, it's not gonna cause any problems. It's not gonna be annoying, because now people are gonna be expected, right? Think about this. Now, if you're a tank, you're expected to have a DPS off spec because dual spec is in. That means dual spec for tanks or healers, anybody with a flex spec, doesn't actually have 2 specs for their enjoyment. It's like to be flexible for the raid. That's what it's going to be. Let the 1% optimize, bro. I don't have time for that shit. Dude, you don't understand what I'm saying. The 1% optimizes, and then 85% of the players follow what that 1% does. That's just how the meta is right now. That's how World of Warcraft, that's how any game fucking is. In League of Legends, 85% of the players are going to open u.gg and follow the best statistic build and not even think about why items are good. In World of Warcraft, you're not going to read all of your talents and then make conscious decisions what you think is the best. You're going to go to wowhead.com, Mage Guide, and copy fucking paste. It doesn't matter. Saying that the 1% is the only people who like actually do this is crazy, bro. Okay, so the problem is dual spec, in my opinion, isn't a quality of life improvement in the terms of, oh, you can respec anywhere you want as long as it's one of 2 specs. That doesn't make any sense. The idea of dual spec is to stop having to pay 50 gold a week to respec multiple times a week. That's the whole point, I think, personally. So you're paying like a lump sum to save money in the long run. That's the idea, at least. And I think that's the purpose it should serve. If you are a serial respecker and you have 2 main playstyles, you should buy dual spec because it financially is, you know, worth for you to do, because you're respecking, you're spending thousands of gold respecking, and you're like, nobody wants to do that, right? But it's not supposed to serve a purpose of, and in my opinion, dual spec is not supposed to serve the purpose of making more optimal decisions for what you're doing, if that makes sense. And I think that's what it is going to become very quickly, because that's just how classic players are.
This dude literally can't help but complain about everything. Such a negative channel. After this comment, wanted to do some soul searching. Is my channel negative? I figured, let me look at my last 3 months of videos. Fury Pro pre-raid bis, how to get your mount, low-level tank guide for fresh. I documented 16 hours in Whaling Caverns. My postulations of how 2024 fresh is going to be different than 2019 is different than 2004. Will fresh kill era? Not negative things. Fresh just got dual spec. That's a news video. It wasn't negative news. Class selection guide. Add-on guide. Just guides and postulations and thinking and thought. Doesn't seem like a lot of negative stuff, but apparently my channel is very negative. 40 ogre suits and knacks is crazy. It seems like that was a fun time. 40 ogres running around. I handed out gold for free on Halloween. I made Thunder Fury. How to get rostered in a raid. How to get invited. What Classic Plus could be. Well, seems like pretty normal positive things to me. He kited Prince Thunderant to Orgrimmar. Did you know that people upset about the Stormrend thing sent a cake to Blizzard HQ? It's just a news video. Twinking's was back. Era's taking a hit, but Twinking was back for a period of time on Era. Fury Pro guide. These are just guides and postulations and news. Doesn't seem that negative to me. I tried to do Molten Core with 40 Paladins. Yeah, these are just fun things. I was going to subscribe, but with this video, I am not. What the fuck is this take? What the fuck? Oh my god. How am I ever going to hit 4,000 subscribers if Bleaser3 doesn't subscribe? Please, Bleaser. Please. So you've watched some of my other videos and you liked them, and then I made a video saying that maybe we should have a restriction of dual spec being in a rested zone. And now, nope, I cannot subscribe to this guy's negative channel. What the fuck are you talking about? Go home, Andy, you're drunk. First of all, we're all classic Andys. We're all playing classic, so don't call me a classic Andy, because you're a classic Andy too. You're drunk, I don't drink. This guy buys gold 100%. It's incredibly rare that even the weather man or woman says it'll rain 100%. It might not. But for this person to be 100% certain that I buy gold, yet provides no evidence? Very interesting. Yet for the past year, I've been very outspoken. Every stream, it seems like I'm killing people who are in guilds that have gold sellers as the guild master. I kill greedy goblin people all the time. I'm like, die gold buying POS. I literally spend all my free time talking shit about gold buyers, talking shit about gold sellers, and trying to grief their world buffs. But apparently I, with 100% certainty, buy gold. There were some supportive people in the insane amount of comments. Lots of comments don't seem to get his point. Having a meta where you can just respec in the middle of the raid or double dip is the issue. Restricting dual spec to a rested area is necessary. This is exactly what I've been saying to anyone willing to listen. In my opinion, rested area with a cooldown. I am in awe of the ignorance of these comments. There's not 1 ounce of high order thinking. You people aren't seeing the unintended consequences of this change. After Molten Core and Onyxia, you'll be laughed out of guild applications for thinking you can join a guild with 1 PvE spec because you can change in raid. That eliminates the entire point of dual spec. There's 0 valid arguments brought against Dwarf Lord by anyone. He's standing up for average player. Yet all that's fired back at him is non sequiturs and red herrings. Sad. Appreciate the supporting comment there. Any supporting comment I appreciate. This was just a funny comment. 3 free respecs. After that, you gotta kill the act boss to acquire Dusk to make a respec token. Problem solved. Oops, wrong game. He's referring to Diablo 2, another game I love. Jokes aside, I do think having a rested lock on dual spec will be helpful. I'm not the only person who thinks this way. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a sub and a comment. Catch me live on my Twitch channel, Dwarflord TV, to connect with me or say hi to me in game on any of my characters. Dwarflord out.
And they say that the Dwarf Lord could save us. I'm not gonna pave here and wait. I'll hold on to the beard of the Dwarf Lord. Watch as we